All right, so diving in. Today, we're looking at NFTs, but specifically how they're impacting the art world.
Yeah, it's a really interesting space right now. Lots of experimentation, a lot of pushback too, but a ton of potential for sure.
Definitely. And to help us unpack it all, we're focusing on a specific artist, Doriam Battaglia, based out of Italy.
His work really caught my eye. He seems to be straddling this line between traditional fine art and, all this new digital stuff.
Exactly. We've got this great article from Hoken. It's called Doriam Battaglia NFT, Italian Contemporary Art Enters Web3. And I gotta say, the title alone got me hooked.
Catchy, right? And it really gets to the heart of what Battaglia is doing.
So for those who maybe haven't heard of him before, can you give us a little background on Dorian Battaglia? Who is he? Where does he come from? What's his art all about?
Well, he's based in Como, Italy. Beautiful part of the world, by the way.
Oh, I can imagine. So Italian through and through.
Yep, and his art's got this real classical foundation, too. He's got a background in architecture, years of experience as a painter, and, get this, he teaches at the Aldo Galli Academy of Fine Arts in Como.
Wow, so he's the real deal, an artist and a teacher.
Absolutely. But what makes his work stand out is how he describes it. He calls it pre-formal art.
Pre-formal art.
Mm.
Okay, now that's a new one for me.
It's all about capturing forms as they're coming into being before they're fully defined, Like
Yeah.
the colors and brushstrokes, they're not just depicting objects, they're suggesting forms, inviting the viewer to kind of complete the image with their imagination.
Oh, I see. So it's like he's giving you the building blocks
Yeah.
and you get to finish constructing the picture in your own mind. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and it makes you think about how we perceive art in general. What makes something complete? Is it the art in its final touch, or is it our engagement with the work?
Right. And that ties in perfectly with the whole NFT thing. It's not just about owning a digital copy. It's about owning a piece of that creative process,
Right.
right?
Exactly, and that's what Battaglia has done. He's taken 8 paintings from his Mirabilia series and turned them into NFTs.
Mirabilia. The name alone sounds like a whole experience.
It definitely is. And each of these NFTs is a single copy, unique, just like the original painting. It taps right into that traditional art value of owning something one of a kind.
Makes it feel even more special, doesn't it? Like you're owning a piece of digital art history. Speaking of which, the article mentions an art critic, Vincenzo Guaricino, and he describes Mirabilia in such a beautiful way.
Guarcina is one of the best. What do you have to say?
Well, he talks about how in Mirabilia, Battaglia is creating this alphabet of signs, letting the colors on the canvas just flow freely. He goes beyond just decoration or trying to perfectly represent things realistically.
Yeah, Guarcino gets it. He understands that Battaglia is using color and form to create a whole language, a visual language that speaks to us on an emotional level.
Powerful stuff. It makes me wonder, does this move to NFTs, does it change how we experience art in a fundamental way? I mean, we've always had prints, reproductions, but this is different, right?
It's a new way of owning and interacting with art, that's for sure. And, it's not just about the art itself, it's also about the technology behind it, the blockchain. There's this whole debate about NFTs and their environmental impact.
Right, because all those digital transactions use up a lot of energy, don't they?
They can, yeah. But, and this is where it gets interesting, Battaglia chose to mint his NFTs on the EOS blockchain. And EOS is known for being carbon neutral, even climate positive in some cases, because it uses renewable energy sources.
So he's actually making a conscious choice to align his art with a more sustainable approach to this technology.
Absolutely. He's thinking about the bigger picture, which is really important in a space that's often criticized for being, all about speculation and quick profits.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see someone thinking about the long-term implications. And I think that's what's so fascinating about NFTs in the art world. It's pushing us to think about what art is, what it means to own it, and how technology can either help or hinder its reach.
Totally. And the article makes a great point about this. It talks about how NFTs are opening up this global gallery for artists. Suddenly, anyone, anywhere in the world can discover and even own a piece of your art.
That's incredible. It democratizes the whole art market in a way we haven't seen before. It makes me think of those online platforms where artists can sell prints and digital downloads directly to their fans. But this takes it a step further.
Right, because with NFTs, you have this verifiable proof of ownership, a record on the blockchain that says you own this unique piece of digital art. It's like owning the original painting, but in the digital realm. It's really changing the game.
So if we step back for a moment and look at everything we've discussed, we've got Doriam Battaglia, this incredibly talented artist who's bridging the gap between traditional and digital art. He's created this stunning collection called Mirabilia, which captures these beautiful, almost ephemeral forms. He's chosen to mint these as NFTs on a sustainable blockchain, ES.
And through this whole process, he's raising important questions about what art is, how we value it, and how technology is changing our relationship with it. It's a really exciting time to be following this space.
It absolutely is. And as our listeners continue to explore this world, I think there's one question that's worth pondering, and we've touched on it a bit, but I think it's worth emphasizing. Do NFTs really democratize art, making it more accessible to everyone, or do they ultimately just reinforce existing power structures within the art market? It's something to keep in mind as you navigate this evolving landscape. Because let's be honest, the art world has never been known for being particularly egalitarian.
That's a really important point to consider. And honestly, I don't think there's a simple answer. It's going to take time to see how this all plays out. But one thing's for sure, NFTs are shaking things up. And that's a good thing.
I completely agree. So much to think about, so much to discuss. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of NFTs and contemporary art. Until next time, keep those minds curious.
Absolutely. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep creating.
And we'll be back soon to dive into another fascinating topic. See you then.
See ya.